Hi, everyone. This is Christina Barr, and you're watching Black Tea News. Hello. Welcome to Black Tea News. I'm your host, Christina Barr. Today we're going to be talking about a bit about Afghanistan, some stuff on the ground, some disturbing interviews from some of the people representing the White House. And I didn't play any snippets from the Stephanopoulos interview the other day because I didn't want to upset my guest too much from yesterday. And if you didn't catch yesterday's interview with Jen Rader, I would check out yesterday's show. It was a good show, if I can brag a little bit, but check that out. But also talking about OnlyFans, the porn site, I guess, is not going to be doing porn anymore. They're going to still have like nudes and stuff like that, but some people are freaking out because they're going to get, tampered down on a lot of their content, and a lot of content creators feel like they're, I don't know, I guess being taken advantage of, which it tends to happen when you're in sex work, I guess, like you didn't see it coming. And I also want to talk about this Gavin Newsom video that I saw when he was like mayor. It's astounding, and just touch a little bit on their election. But before I jump into it, please visit blacktnews.com. Check out content that I have on the website. Share those articles. Look at other past videos. Please share. Find me on all my social media platforms, on Facebook and YouTube and TikTok. It's at Black Tea News. On Twitter, it's at True Black Tea. So it's pretty much the same uniform across all platforms. I'd like to thank today's sponsor, the Brighter Michigan Pack. That is my story from another time. Brighter Michigan Pack is my sponsor for today in their studio. If you don't like what I'm saying, they don't care. I don't care. It doesn't work like that. I'm just using the facility and appreciate it. So shout out to them. If you would like to support blackteennews.com, you go to blackteennews.com/donate. So you can go to the website and do that, or you can do it via PayPal or Cash App with the instructions with the ticker at the bottom. And lastly, before I jump into my news stories and stuff, I would like to encourage you to check out the store on blackteennews.com. You can get stuff with the nifty logo. I've gotten lots of compliments on my logo. I do like it. I do dig it. I was told that black tea is their favorite beverage, which is very flattering. So you can get some stuff with black tea on it. You can get this cool Frederick Douglass shirt, the Constitution is a Glorious Liberty document. You are not that special. We got that in mugs and shirts of different colors. And I feel like you got to bring back some Trump gear because I'm missing him. Are you missing him? I know not everybody loved him, but how can you not miss him? How can you not miss him at this point? I just want to have like a really honest and open conversation with some lefties who were just like gung ho about pushing Biden, even though maybe they didn't like. Well, obviously they didn't like Trump, but they pushed Biden and they lied to themselves on other kinds of ways, convinced themselves it was the right thing to do, and they did what they thought was right based on whatever information they were consuming. I'm not going to say it was available or what they had, because there's lots of information out there that people just chose to ignore based on the information they chose to consume. They thought they were making a good decision. However, a lot of the stuff is really bad that's going on right now. And I would love to talk to some of these media people who knew all the information and were suppressing a lot of it, but they wanted their guy through. Was it worth it in the end? I don't think so. And even the media, a lot of the media is being honest about what's going on in Afghanistan. But before I jump into Afghanistan, I guess I am jumping into Afghanistan. I like to start with like a meme normally or something funny. I just saw this on Twitter not too long ago. So it's a video taken. You should recognize the movie, but I love the memesters when they actually go the distance. And I showed you guys a really cool comic book yesterday. Today I'm going to show you a video that someone took from a movie and actually like imposed. You'll see.
Did you order your officers to study critical race theory?
We live in a woke world, and that wokeness has to be guarded by trans allies with guns. Who's gonna do it? You? You want answers?
I want the truth!
You can't handle my truth, son! You weep for America and curse the Pentagon. You have the luxury of not knowing what I know. That your indoctrination, while tragic, probably saves lives. And my existence, while grotesque and incomprehensible to you, saves lives. You don't want the truth. Because deep down in places you don't talk about at parties, you want me to have no balls. You need me to have no balls. We use words like Marxism, equity, and gender affirmation. We use these words as the backbone of a life spent defending something. You use them as a punchline. I have neither the time nor inclination to explain myself to a man who rises and sleeps under the blanket of the very wokeness that I provide, and then questions the manner in which I provide it. I'd rather you just said, "Thank you, ma'am," and went on your way. Otherwise, I suggest you pick up a rainbow flag and stand a post. Either way, I don't give a damn what you think you're entitled to.
Did you order them to...
I did the
Did
job
you order them to learn about white rage?
You're goddamn right I did!
Yeah, so they went all out with that. I always love when they actually go to that max to do it. I feel like I could make those, but I don't have that kind of time. But I could definitely pull it up if I felt like I really wanted to do something like that. Though some of my TikToks can get pretty intense. So of course, not too long ago we had him on Capitol Hill talking about white rage and how they needed to study critical race theory because he wanted to understand white rage and how they could attack the Capitol, how all these men could do that, what would drive them to do that. And mind you, there's still people who are trying to drive a narrative like, yeah, stuff's going bad in Afghanistan, but we should really be concerned about these Trumpsters. And that's more stuff I want to go into, I guess, more detail on another day. But white rage was trending about 2 days ago because people are like, this is what you guys should have been having, like, decent strategy, getting decent intel, planning a decent exit for these people, saving American lives, instead of trying to make our military woke. Like, critical race theory, and I know I talk a lot about it, but it just, these people are liars about how they want to save the world and they want to get rid of racism. And no, they're all their methods and all their ideology just makes everyone else more racist. And so the army, the Navy, the Marines, everybody, the military should just be about their unity, coming together for a mission, to protect, to serve. They should all be brothers in arms. And to think that you'd want to inject that sort of racial nonsense into it, I mean, it's disgusting. And of course, it's a waste of time. They're so invested in that. They're so invested in flying rainbow flags over the embassy in Kabul. That's not happening anymore, is it? Certainly not. But I'll get back to Afghanistan. I just really quickly wanted to point out, so New York New York City is pushing for, now they're requiring that businesses go ahead and enforce that people wear masks, and the businesses themselves will be fined thousands of dollars if they do not have people come on. And not only, I'm sorry, that they have to have a proof of vaccination. So I saw a video the other day of there were people outside eating, but there was very few people inside, I guess, who had the proof of vaccination. And not everyone's going to have that sort of setup. So we'll see how that goes. But there's a lot of minorities who are not vaccinated. So I wonder in the end, is this going to be, are people going to push like, you're segregating the minorities from all these people? And of course, they're not going to try to want to spin it that way, but that is the effect. And the funny thing about systemic racism is if you see some kind of disparity there, aren't you supposed to assume that there's racism involved there? I mean, it's discrimination, and they have no, they should not have any sort of authority to be pulling such tyranny with the restaurants. But that's the same thing that people did in other states, like Gretchen Whitmer in Michigan, to enforce when they're different counties and sheriffs and stuff. They're like, we're not going to enforce all these dumb lockdown measures. We have other things to do. Like, you're not going to call us because someone's not wearing a mask. Well, if businesses didn't enforce that stuff, they're talking about pulling licenses from people. So they make the people turn on each other. Because they'll find them, they'll force them, they'll shut them down, and not everybody has the resources, the willpower, or whatever to stand up to the government who's enforcing all these rules and regulations. And so they would rather, because the government doesn't want to have to be the bad guy all the time, they'll turn us all into the bad guys of each other. They sow division to gain more power, and it's really disgusting. So that's what's going on in New York. So they are enforcing vaccination passports to go like basically anywhere in public. And so you this legislator from New York, and he's pointed out that you need an ID. Isn't that amazing that you need an ID to actually go in and enjoy a meal or go to the concert or whatever? What's funny about this is that, I've been informed that showing an ID is just Jim Crow. Is it not Jim Crow? Like it's not just Jim Crow. It's the new new and improved. Like, it makes Jim Crow look like Jim Eagle. That's what Biden said. That's what Biden said. So with the measures, with the people are trying to pass election integrity bills, and so they got up in arms about showing ID. So now you have people enforcing vaccine passports, and not only did you need to show your passport to go eat a cheeseburger or something, you need to show ID. So that is hysterical. And they said they need the ID to cut down on fraud. Oh, isn't that a novel idea that you need IDs to cut down on fraud? That sounds mystifying. In what world? It sounds like sorcery. Pure sorcery. No, seriously. These people know that you need IDs to vote. And they know that most people have IDs, period. And if people don't have IDs, it's probably because they have checked out of society mentally or whatever. They don't feel that as important because they're not participating in everyday society. But most people use IDs, need IDs. You want to go to the bank, you want to go see a movie that is a little older than what you not should see, but if you want to get some cold medicine or something, you need an ID. You need an ID. Most people have them. It's accessible to just about everyone. Majority of Americans want you to have ID. So it's just really silly. And of course, not only do they enforce these mandates that are just insane for the vaccination passports, they say you have to show ID. So it's hilarious. And I thought it was worth sharing with you all. So the next thing I want to show you is this interview that I saw with Gavin Newsom. And it's just wild. It's so wild. This is when he was mayor. How did California allow him to rise. Like, obviously he has connections and power and so on. Like, but this is one of the most wildest interviews I've seen. And I just got to show it to you guys.
Mr. Mayor, good to see you. Let me start by asking you, where have you been?
$522.2 million shortfall. Last year we had a 570.
Wait a minute.
5.6. Hey.
I'm going to go back and after we show you the video, but I just had to pop it. Like, I feel like the guy, like, wait a minute. Like, is that what he asked him? Like, where have you been? And he just has a speech prepared. Sometimes these politicians are so robotic, they cannot even, when people aren't listening, if people are listening, it should be able to repeat back what you're saying and like have a conversation. Like, he's just gung-ho, like right on getting ready to with his talking points and didn't even have the decency to listen. So I just thought that part was funny, and I'm going to play the whole thing. I'm sorry for the interruption.
Mr. Mayor, good to see you. Let me start by asking you, where have you been?
$522.2 million shortfall. Last year we had a 570.
Wait a minute.
5.6. Hank, I'm here to talk about today and tomorrow. Not yesterday. I've been working my tail off. I've been out. I think I had 69 public events in the last 2.5 weeks.
You know, I heard you say that on the radio today,
yeah.
And then I asked your staff, well, where's the printout? Where are these events? And your press person said, well, this is stuff he just goes to.
Yeah, these are all public events.
Right.
Yeah. So.
But look, you know the criticism that you have been dodging, not just the press, but also the public, that you have been sulking after dropping out of the governor's race, that you're having a temper tantrum. What do you want to say about it?
I want to say that I've been working my tail off. I've been here focused in San Francisco. I think I was gone 2 days out of the city in the last 3 weeks. We've done 69 public events. I've been as engaged or more engaged than ever. I don't read the press. It is comical, some of the things that have been written.
So the cartoon in the Chronicle that depicted you as a crying baby with the headline, Mayor, Mayor, off the wall, you didn't see that?
No.
You didn't see it?
Who reads that stuff? I don't read that stuff. I focus on work. I focus on getting things done.
You know, it's not just the press, though, that you've been absent from. I mean, I have a list of the events that you have missed.
Which ones?
Well, you want a few. The Urban Land Institute, you were scheduled to speak before 6,000 people.
I had the flu that week.
The China SF conference that was also there, they were counting on you. The Silver Spur Awards luncheon.
That was the only one I missed that I actually knew about. No, I took
2,000 people.
After I think you're focused on the Spur. I actually wish I had made. I was sick as a dog, and that was on a Monday, and was gone for 3 days.
Some of your staff members have left.
Yeah, as I said, I made a lot of changes here.
You went to Hawaii.
For how long?
Didn't tell your own press secretary. He was blindsided.
Right.
Had to go out and tell the reporters, well, he's under the weather. Didn't know his own boss was on a plane to Hawaii. Was blindsided. These are people who work for you 15, 16 hours a day.
Wasn't that wild? That was a crazy interview. So a lot of these people, there's just one TikToker, they did a video. I actually did like a draft of it, didn't publish it yet. And they were talking about like mask mandates and stuff. And basically they think people are selfish and stupid because they won't wear a mask, do whatever. And they kind of mock like, oh, your freedom. There's a lot of people out there who are in politics, who are in leadership, who just frankly don't care about you. They have their projects, they have their special interests, they rub elbows with people, and there's certain things that they want to get done for whatever reason. Gavin Newsom is one of the people that when the pandemic started, he's like, we can use this to implement our agenda. Like he said that. I don't know what all his agenda was, but there's that phrase that the Democrats utter: never waste a good crisis, or never let a good crisis go to waste. So they're always kind of looking at how to take advantage of the situation and advantage of you, to gain more power. So his elitist attitude is just laughing it off. So many lies, so many, like, just frustrated with he's all too good for them. Like it gives me like American Psycho kind of Christian Bale vibes, getting ready to snap a little bit, but at the same time, Matthew McConaughey naked on bongos. Like, it's like he could probably do a really good job playing Gavin Newsom in a movie if anyone would want to do that. But you can totally see why someone like this would be able to get up and tell people like, hey, you can't open up your restaurant. We have to do lockdown. You have to do masks. You have to do all these things I'm going to push. And at the same time, go enjoy a party at the French Laundry, no social distancing, no masks. So there's some people who are on the left who are trying to make it seem like the recall is not democratic. Literally, people have said that the recall election is not democratic, which of course it is. Everyone has to vote yes or no. And if you vote yes, I want him to be recalled, then you go on and there's a big ballot of the potential people on the list. And so I think Republicans should rally around Larry Elder. That is my very strong opinion. And I've seen some other big people, go ahead and support him and so on. I think he's the one everyone should rally around, but it will be whatever it will be. People are voting right now. One thing I do want to mention before I move on is that someone did a video, I don't know, it seemed disturbing to me, but they there's holes on the ballot, like the envelope. So you fill out the ballot, and if you mark yes, and then you just fold it up and you put it in. If you don't fold it up a certain way and you stick it in the envelope, you can see from the outside of the envelope if someone marked yes. So if someone has your ballot, they don't have to open it to know how you voted. And if someone wanted to toss it, then they could do that. Of course, that would be awful, and you don't want to accuse people of wanting to do that. But why would you leave that door open? Why are there holes there? I mean, I guess they want holes there because they don't want people to. They want to make sure if they have an envelope that there's actually something in there, I guess. But you could always just open it. Like, it's the privacy of people and their election integrity. That's really important. So putting the holes there, and hopefully it was just a careless mistake, and an honest mistake, and not a devious thing to have the holes there. And I don't want to go deep conspiracy or anything like that, but it is peculiar that if you put your ballot inside your envelope that you're going to mail, and if you're not careful, like how you would just like normally just kind of fold it up, you slap it in, and then there's holes right there to see whether you marked yes for your ballot. So I think that's strange. But Godspeed to Larry Elder. And I hope, first and foremost, I hope Gavin Newsom can be recalled, because I don't think you should be able to treat your citizens so poorly and get away with it. And people who say it's not it's not democracy in action or whatever, and it's unfair because he won a big election and now you just had some people funding a recall. Well, they had to get the signatures. They got more than enough signatures to recall him. That took a lot of work. People did it. People were sick of him. And he doesn't deserve to keep leading. So good luck in California to Larry Elder. And I know there's other candidates, but like I said, I think it's important that people go center around one. And I like Larry Elder. You can like whoever you like, that's fine, but just vote yes, and you guys can go from there. I'm not in California. I'm not in that bonker state. I'm in another bonker state, but it's less bonkers than your state. So it is what it is. So let's talk about Afghanistan a bit. I did not get a chance to play any of Stephanopoulos' interview with Biden, which you would think would just be a layup interview. And it could be worse than what actually came out, because I haven't seen any raw unedited stuff, but they're being accused of like splicing up some stuff to kind of try to protect Biden, to make him seem not as incompetent, which if that is the case, that is amazing, because he said some really bad stuff. So I got two little clips I'm going to play real quick.
But we've all seen the pictures. We've seen those hundreds of people packed into a C-17. We've seen Afghans falling.
That was 4 days ago, 5 days ago.
What did you think when you first saw those pictures?
So 4 or 5 days ago. So people were talking about that. At that point in time, it was not 4 or 5 days ago. It was like 2 days ago when he had this interview, and it just demeans what happened. You just brush it off like it was just a couple of days ago. What does it matter? Like with the chaos, forget about it. Like it really has a what difference at this point does it make vibes with Hillary Clinton. So that's Mr. Empathy. People voted for Joe Biden because he's so empathetic. He's the most empathetic, honest, good man that we've ever known for president. And we're so glad that, we voted for him. And, Cindy McCain was so glad to vote for Joe Biden and campaign for Joe Biden. And Meghan McCain put out her tweet, he's such a good person. And you're tweeting all kind of upset stuff, obviously, about Afghanistan. So here's another little snippet.
So you don't think this could have been handled, this actually could have been handled better in any way? No mistakes?
No, I don't think it could have been handled in a way that we're going to go back in hindsight and look, but the idea that somehow there's a way to have gotten out without chaos ensuing, I don't know how that happens. I don't know how that happened.
So for you, that was always priced into the decision?
Yes.
So perhaps the Taliban running over, maybe some of that was always inevitable. Perhaps. And most people are glad that there's a pullout, but just not the way that it's happening. Obviously, you'd want to get the people out first and not take the military out first. But Biden saying that it's baked in, and he basically there's no regrets. I believe that's true, that's actually baked in. And he actually knew everything that was going to happen or had an idea. They had that intelligence. People were telling them. The media was trying to tell him last month, your intelligence is saying this. And he's like, no, that's not true. He's lying to us. He's a very prolific liar throughout the years. This isn't new, but Joe Biden is a liar. He's a liar. But he's also someone who wanted to pull out, and I have talked about this several times on the shows about how Joe Biden has said, according to Holbrook's diary, that when it was questioned, if we just pull out, what about the girls and the women and everyone who's going to suffer because of it? And he said, F that. They got away with it in Vietnam. I'm paraphrasing. But if that's the case, that's certainly the attitude, because he knew better, but he decided to do what he wanted to do. So the White House representatives had an interview with Breonna Keller, who I'm not fond of CNN, but even CNN is pressing the Biden team about all this stuff. So there was a lot in the interview. It was maybe about 7 minutes long. I didn't want to play the whole thing, but the capacity of the planes of what they can take out, they're not doing it. The planes aren't moving like they should. And even when they are moving, they aren't packed to the mass of what Americans they can get. But they keep saying, we're going to take out, they're not promising to get all Americans out, or the people who worked with us. They're saying they're not guaranteeing that you can get to the airport. And by the way, there's some mixed messages on this right now, but it appears that you have to pay $2,000. It is not a free ride. I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. There's on documents and stuff. It as late as last night, the Daily Caller reported, there are Biden people saying, well, given the circumstances, you don't have to pay back, but that hadn't been removed last I looked. Could have changed this afternoon. But it says you'll have to sign a document or something that a promissory note that you'll pay back the $2,000. And if you don't pay it back, then when you get your passport renewed, then it won't be renewed. So that's wild. That's wild. That's really wild. So they can't guarantee your safety to get there. They're saying they don't have the capability, which is crazy because you see Britain doing it, going in, paratroopers getting their people out for getting their people out, and Americans are saying, oh, we can't do it. I can't, like, a lot of people go back and forth, like, with politics, and be like, I'm so ashamed of my country, I'm so upset with America, and they'll say it over, like, frivolous things over, like, the president they don't like is in office. Like, I didn't like when Democrats were like, I'm so ashamed of my country and stuff, or so upset, or I don't like America, when Trump was in office. And I saw people on the right doing the same thing when, like, Biden got elected, or when Obama was in. Like, America is still America. This stuff is heartbreaking right now. Like, I keep having conversations with people. I can't stand the way that our troops feel right now, the people who sacrificed in Afghanistan, who fought in Afghanistan, and feel like, who lost friends in Afghanistan, lost limbs in Afghanistan, who right now are questioning whether it was all worth it. And I keep thanking people for their service and saying it was worth it. And when people on TikTok say something like that, there's people who are from Afghanistan or moved to America from Afghanistan, or they'll say, no, we thank you. Like, what you did mattered. But I hate that the commander in chief made them feel that way with this botched operation. It's really disheartening. And I said yesterday, I don't know how long I can keep talking about it. Maybe that's what Biden is hoping for, that eventually this stuff will just kind of get flushed out and just flushed down the toilet and they can move on. Because, I mean, he believes that we can just get away with it, and that's why he did what he did. But it is disheartening to see, like, videos of Afghanistan people passing up their babies to soldiers so they can be safe. And Sky News reported that some of them got caught in, like, the barbed wire, and everyone was crying and needing counseling because the sort of things that they're seeing. So I don't even want to keep talking about that particular thing, but I'll play this little snippet of this Breonna Taylor interview.
There are a lot of details that you're unable to share with us. How does the administration see its moral obligation to Afghans who helped the U.S., and because of those Afghans, there are Americans, service members and civilians, who are still alive? How does the administration see its moral obligation to those people?
Absolutely. The president does feel a moral obligation. He's spoken to this. He has said we are going to work to help protect and get out those people who helped our servicemen and women over the last 20 years. He absolutely feels a moral obligation. So that's why he has directed his team to move rapidly. It's why when he came into office,
you'll work to get them out. You'll work to get them out. I do want. You'll work to get them out. But, you know, this isn't horseshoes, right? Close doesn't matter. Will you get them out?
But look, the president has committed we will get every American who wants to get out of Afghanistan, and we are working to move as many of our allies who helped us, who stood by us, who helped our servicemen and women get out as possible. And I would note that when he came into office, he moved to condense the visa process for SIVs. This has been a priority for him, to try to move people out of the country who helped us over the last 20 years. So that's what he's focused on, and that's what he's working on doing.
So there's mixed messages right now about the hard date of August 31st. I've seen some stories that Biden is maybe, like, he kind of spoke a little bit like they're kind of thinking about pushing it a little bit, but I've heard them say, like, they have a window for which they want to get all these people out, and they're talking about cooperating with the Taliban. And at what cost? Like, literally at what cost? Are you going to drop pallets of cash? Like, is that what's going to happen? Are we going to be a big a sponsor of terror after all this is over? I don't know, but the thing that is really concerning me right now is they keep repeating this line: we will get everyone out who wants to get out. And I'm concerned that when they want to pull out, that there will be people left behind, and they'll just have this talking point of, we got everyone out who wanted to get out, but there's people who still wanted to get out that they just didn't get them out, and that's just what they're gonna say. So that is my concern right now. Ooh, Donnie Danko. For those of you who don't know, the really awesome comic book I showed yesterday was from this guy right here. So it was so amazing. I did a TikTok on it too, sir. It was really good, a lot of work. You can always tweet me things like that. Okay, so next I want to go on and talk about OnlyFans really quickly before I end the show. I have a special guest who's going to join me on here. You'll see them after the video airs. But I'm going to play a little bit of Kevin Samuels. He's a consultant, and he talks a lot with a lot of men, a lot of women. The women especially are like upset with him because he just absolutely, gives it 100% straight facts. I don't always agree with them, but he got into it with some ladies about OnlyFans. So I'm going to play a little snippet of this interview.
The money you're making is seasonal. There will be a new it chick every season. And what ends up happening is if you don't take the money you have while you're hot, and if you're not flexible enough to listen to people who know better, you'll just have a lot of money that you blow.
And we can have a conversation about it. Go ahead. You had something, and then we'll turn it to Kevin, and then we'll let you speak as well,
Yeah.
Damaris.
Yeah.
So go ahead. Sorry. It's fine. It's open forum. You know what I'm saying? Say your piece. I saw that you wanted to say something earlier.
No, I retire. And me too. I feel like you said you were being respectful, but you weren't. As a man, I feel like you have no place to tell women how to make their money. And then you're referring to it as a sex industry. Just because you have OnlyFans doesn't mean you're having sex on it. You could be cooking on OnlyFans. You could do whatever you want. So I just feel like I'm just offended. And it's not just him towards me, it's towards women, because men have no place at all to say how women should and shouldn't.
We have every place. We built the goddamn world you live in.
No, you didn't.
The platform you're on is built by men.
I'm gonna say
nobody made this about men or
guys
women.
do not get paid
I
stay here. So
this is what tends to happen when, whether it's OnlyFans, TikTok, Instagram, and when women can't handle it, they leave. This is the point. This is about business. Business isn't offensive, but when people in their lack of knowledge gets exposed, they get offended.
So if you haven't seen that full interview, that's wild. So this is my sister Katrina. Hello world. So she came in the studio we were messing around with some music stuff today, and so interesting topic. So not that she's not a sex worker or anything.
The world. Virgin, crying out loud.
So anyway, Kevin Samuels looks like a genius now. Not that you had to be a genius to know that he was just talking common sense, that these things don't last, and they were upset about it.
Well, the crazy thing is that how this industry just grew during the course of the pandemic. And you had, even in the city where we're from, you had young girls that were taking their unemployment, taking their stimulus checks, instead of putting it towards bills or their house or possibly just becoming an entrepreneur or anything like that, they were getting work done to become Instagram models and OnlyFans models. And now, a lot of them are freaking out. And I saw some on the Shade Room that were posting comments of this is terrible. There's going to be people that need to feed their children. And
why did you care about the children before you started getting naked on the cameras?
They did. And they're saying comments like, this is really messing up a lot of people's careers, but it's just all delusion. And even when they try to defend it, in the beginning, that girl.
That episode of Frasier comes by, you're a whore.
You're a whore. No, but the one girl who was saying, you can cook on OnlyFans, you can cook on
YouTube.
Yeah.
Like that's not the issue.
You can start your own app or your own website and have premium
cooking is not
that's not why people go to OnlyFans.
And that's not why these girls are making thousands of dollars a month and $10,000 a month. And another thing is
she can't cook.
And the one thing about that interview was that these girls, and there's other girls, had this delusion that this would last forever for a long time. And those guys were trying to make the point, like, this isn't going to last. Like, you have to do something.
Yeah.
Even Kevin at one point, he was like, I know sex workers and prostitutes and strippers and everybody else. He said, but what you guys are doing, this social media stuff, is not going to last. He's like, even those jobs, they don't last.
Yeah.
What are you doing in the moment? And what are these women doing? They're getting more work done on their body. They were buying expensive handbags, $4,000 handbags that they never had before in their life.
Yeah.
And finally get it. And now come October, they realize, I'm not going to be making those $1,000 a month. This isn't fair.
Yeah. Well, OnlyFans, I saw there's a lot of people commenting on the. Well, first of all, they want to have some more legitimate clients and stuff. So there was some people interested in it, I guess, but they can't do it while they're just mostly known as a porn site. So they're trying to get investors so they can buy out their biggest investor, who's a big porn guy. But no one wants to invest in them, even though they make an insane amount of money. Have a lot of cash. People are spending a lot of money on it, but they can't get investors because it's a porn site. And people don't want to be associated with that. And I saw some people freaking out and like blaming like the evangelicals and the Puritans and all that other kind of stuff because people they campaigned and they made people feel a certain way about this stuff and they're tyrannical, these tyrannical Puritans.
If the evangelical movement was that strong, Pornhub would be gone.
Yeah.
That's not the reason. It's not the reason, because like I said, that would be gone, and there'd be other things that'd be gone too. And WAP wouldn't have been the number one song, and Lil Nas X wouldn't have been able to make the fame that he's made and doing what he did at the award show and all that stuff. That's just an excuse. There's other things that are at play, and more than likely it's a money thing. And I'm pretty sure we'll get more details and stuff as it goes out. But these women, guys have been saying like Subway's hiring McDonald's.
Yeah. So I saw a joke that's like all the servers are going to be back at the restaurant.
But it's so, and I'm pretty sure there might be some girls that did save up money and are smart about it, but there's so many young people that were doing this and have had made this life for them, and they thought this would be the norm for them for how many years, and that's all about to be gone. So they are freaking out.
Well, a lot of people who may do like perverse things in entertainment, they find a way to get out, expand, or do other things. Like Kim Kardashian made a sex tape
example
a long time ago.
Example.
But her mom and all of them, they got together and they started building an empire of different things. And entertainers do that. Jessica Alba has her own, company. Like these people go on and there's nothing like super obscene that I can think that she did or anything. But I'm just making the point that entertainers who can't last
was known
forever in their craft, they figure out how to branch out if they want to keep making money for themselves and for their family. If you thought your whole entire business and what you can build for your family is just lasting on superficial vanities with your body, those things don't last. They fade, they sag.
Like Mark Wahlberg, he's an excellent example. Like he got famous kind of like through his brother from New Kids on the Block, and then he became a rapper. But one of the things that made him stand out was because he was shirtless all the time, dropping his pants, rapping in his underwear and all that. And now you can't get him to go anywhere near a microphone. I haven't been able to get him to go near a microphone because he transitioned from music to movies. And now he has documentaries on HBO where he has like 7 different types of businesses because he wants to develop an empire, not just for him, but his children and his children's children and his families and his brothers and their children and their children's children. And so, people, they take money and they invest. And so the problem is that you have a whole generation
of young kids that just has no accountability for anything, and they want everything given to them. And I'm just thinking back to the beginning of all this when the Republicans were saying, if you do this with the unemployment, people are not going to want to get off.
Yeah.
And now you have businesses that, these businesses are at like a standstill with their employees, because not only do people not want to work, but now they're enforcing the vaccine mandates, and people are like, well, I'm just going to go back on unemployment, fire me.
Yeah.
And so now you're at a standpoint, and it's just kind of like, okay, capitalism is going to win out. So it's either, people are going to have to go back to work to get money, or the corporations are going to cave.
Yeah.
So
I saw that Biden is thinking about not extending the extra bit of money. So, and if states start requiring that you're going to have to look for work, and that's people are going to run into a problem really hard and really fast. So I would encourage people, if you can and you need a job, go and get one now before you miss out. But these people with the OnlyFans, I don't know what they were naive to think it would. Now, I can understand being surprised it hasn't lasted a little bit longer, but if they were banking on this for some long-term income, that's just not how it works. But I did see some people criticizing OnlyFans because they have all these people who built up their money, their income, who built this empire selling off their bodies and whatever, explicit sexual content. And now they're saying, oh, you got to do something else. And so basically, it's the same kind of arguments people have with YouTube and other people when they start changing the rules, like you want to screw over your content creators. But it's like, oh, I'm sorry, a porn site screwed over their their employees? Who could have seen this coming?
Eventually
they treated their whores like whores. What?
My gosh, the pimps acted like pimps. What kind of world do we live in? The catastrophe, the chaos, the absurdity of it all.
How dare they? How dare they?
Positively.
This is all the Christians' fault.
It's all the Christians. It's all the Christians. Someone alarmed the church, and now the church is taking revenge. Oh, good grief. It's too much. But eventually there'll be another thing that will come along that's similar to it. And to be honest, like I didn't understand a lot of these people and these girls that were doing it, because I'm just like, I know if you have one kid, like all that work you just put on your body, it's just gonna go out the window. And who would want that out there while they have their kid or after they have a kid? I mean, well, some people don't care. I mean, people are trying to change the outlook on sex workers.
People are trying, but that stigma is still there right now, as it should be. And that's why OnlyFans can't get investors, and they're having a hard time because of what is associated with what they do. And even the platform for which allowed them to have this opportunity realizes there's a stigma and wants to drop them. They've been used. People keep talking about, I want to do this for my self-respect, my body. People, that is not how you get respect. And this is a way you can tell, because the people who supplied the platform, you still don't respect you. They used you.
You always need to have a contingency plan or something else going on. Companies buy out other companies.
That's true too.
They change all the time. Nothing lasts forever. People who are over things, they might claim and say, I'll do this for the rest of my life. Somebody comes in with the big check and an idea, and next thing you know, they're out.
Yeah.
Like people thought for sure BET would be run by Black people for its all of its legacy, and right now, no.
Yeah.
Nope.
It's all about the Benjamins, baby.
It's about the money. It's all about the money.
All about the Benjamins. Well, I do have to call it a quits for now. We got to wrap up the show. It was nice to have you on for a segment.
Nice to be
Big sister. Baby.
Yeah,
don't touch me.
I love you.
Okay, I love you too. But anyway, please go to blacktnews.com. Check out content that I have on the website. Check out different articles. Please share them. You can find me on all my social media platforms. It's all at Black T News on Facebook, on YouTube, on TikTok. The only one that is different is at Twitter. If you guys have any memes and funny things you think should be like featured on the show, please send those to me. I guess you can post them in comments and stuff, but I would prefer if you would tweeted them at me at True Black Tea. That's my only one that's different, at True Black Tea. If you would like to support blacktnews.com, you go to blacktnews.com/donate on the website and do that. And please also check out the different merchandise that we have in the store. I love this "I am not the victim you're looking for" shirt. You got this "Denounce white supremacy, defeat Joe Biden" shirt with a list of his racist things on the back. Oh my God, I can't believe there's so many bad things associated with this
part
man.
two, that shirt.
No, I'm not even thinking about the racism. I'm thinking about Afghanistan and just like how many bad things could have happened so fast. Like, you know how when Trump got elected, and I know I'm veering off. I don't want to do the 5 closing scene, but because we're ministers, 5 closings, but people were freaking out like the world was going to end when Trump was elected. Like, Biden is actually like what they thought would happen.
I can't remember who said it, but even somebody on CNN said, "Can you imagine if it was reversed and it was Trump?" I couldn't believe they said that came from CNN. I'm just like, even the left knows that if this was Trump instead of Biden, how?
Of course they know. They're the hypocrites. They're the hypocrites. They're just
out.
admitting it. Also, you guys can get stuff on my logo. You guys get other shirts. Like the "You Are Not That Special." We got that in different colors, and we also got that in different mugs. And the last thing I will mention, because I love it so much, is
a gag gift.
Yeah, it would be. is the GOAT shirt, the greatest of all time, and you get that in a hoodie. I got the hoodie in different colors. I love it. It's so comfortable and it's cool. I get tons of compliments on it, so you should wear it and get compliments as well. So thank you guys very much for joining me today, and I will see you guys next time.